I wanted to take you through a full demo of everything that's inside of the design kit at this point in time in end of sort of May. The first thing that I built the design kit for was to create a gallery, a library, an archive of inspiration of different ideas. And that's where examples lives. And that's the first thing you're going to see. Now, what this essentially is an ongoing creative library that's getting updated every single day as more users go and save examples. So the more users that join, the better then the example library gets. You can then interact with this by putting searches in there, such as collagen, and filter down based on exactly what you're looking for. And you're going to see collagen-based items. Sometimes you're going to get the occasional oddball pop in there. And that can just be because the keyword has appeared inside the listing at some point, and that's why it's appearing. But it's just going to allow you to filter down results a little bit faster and speed up your design iteration process. We can get rid of that. You can also then filter this way. Let's say you're looking for something like packaging, for argument's sake. You want some packaging ideas. We can go through and look back over lots of different packaging ideas. You can then take something like this, save it, and start bookmarking it to different areas. This is really, really useful because when you then come into the bookmarks, which we'll go to next, you have an organization of ideas, let's say best heroes, which you can then pass on to a designer. So the designer can then pick in and see your best heroes for this particular project. What they can then see is why you liked the heroes. You can add a comment to give specific details so that design process can happen without you actually needing to be there, because you have built up a bank of ideas already with regards to actual images of what you like, and then commentary on top. So your designer can then operate without you, and that could be a much more seamless process with less back and forth. In order for you to go and save these ideas yourself, we have a Chrome extension which you can download down here. And then when we start going through Amazon, you're going to see this different widget, which means you can save items on the fly. So this item here, third-party test for purity, you might decide to save that. Number one creatine brand in the US day. You want to save that. You can then add bookmarks at the same time. When we then come into the product detail page, we have more opportunities to save items. So let's say this, a really simple little creative, we can save it, or we can save something like this. I wouldn't save this. I don't think the contrast is high enough, doesn't meet the standards, but something like this might be really simple and we want to save it. Now, as each user continues to save, you have the ability to save brand stories, infographics, main images, videos, A+ premium. This one I will actually save for you. As well as different storefront pages. So the more users that are saving examples on the fly and keep making that creative library better and better, the better. So if you can have your team using the Chrome extension and everyone is saving those ideas and organizing them inside of bookmarks, it means you don't have to then create a filing system yourself, which can waste time. And ultimately, things just end up getting lost. So exactly the same point here, we're looking through and just trying to create nice storefronts. 10 to 20% of the revenue can be coming from your storefront now, so it's important that we sit there saving that. We can save the main ones, or we can go into individual sub-pages, something that most Amazon sellers aren't doing, and we can save some inspiration from there. This can then be passed on to your designer, and you can go, right, here, build a storefront for me. And you've got all of the examples you want, and then naturally when you come back in, you can add your comments as to why you like those storefronts. So really, really simple to do. Sometimes you will find, particularly with the bigger images, they take a bit longer to load. So the storefronts that can be quite long, they might take a while to load, and you'll just have to hover on the screen slightly until that button then refreshes and changes. But as you can see here, these 3 items here have been pulled through, and if we then wanted to have this, we could very easily. I might add this to, let's say, best heroes. I can add a comment accordingly. This is the first part. This is examples and inspiration. We see everyone else's, but if you just want to see your own, you then have my examples, which filters down just what you have saved. Okay, so you don't want to see everyone else's, no problem. You just want to see your own library, that's fine. Equally, if you then want to see my library, what I'm saving. You can see Daniela's here, you can see the design team's here, but mine's probably most active, and you can see just what I've been saving. So a specific user, just so you can go, I trust that person's opinion, let me go see what they've been saving recently. And the search and the filtering logic applies there as well. The filter, not playing ball today. The second piece is templates. Now, traditionally, I view templates as, one full design. But what we've started to do is view them a little bit more like building blocks. So if you think about Lego, I could give you the full Lego design, or what I could do is give you each individual Lego block so you can build whatever you want. And that's what we've kind of moved into now, because it allows you just to chop and change. So here, these look a bit funky, but because they're storefronts. Whereas if we go to something like A+ Premium, it's a little bit more easy to explain. We've got a selection of different review modules here, each one worth 1 credit. And you can just copy and paste that in Figma, or you will see the option to, on some of them, open in Canva. And that's going to open that directly in Canva. So if we take this design like so, that is then going to open Canva, ready for you to then use the templates in your own design, and you'll be charged a credit for that. A credit at the moment is roughly $1 per credit. These are the building blocks. We have that in A+, we have it in infographics. So we've got loads of infographics. And then obviously we have it in storefronts as well. We can then filter by style, such as comparison tables. This is something new we're introducing, or testimonials, just so you can filter down for what you're looking for. This is developing slowly, and you'll see constant UI changes if we experiment and take feedback from the users. But what we found is we actually like the idea now of users being able to follow certain brand guidelines and edit everything all at once. So you're working with a new client, if you're an agency, or you're working just on your own brand, and what you want is just a full page where you can go start working immediately and update all of these designs with your own color scheme. Now we can obviously do a find and replace here in Canva. I'm not a Canva expert. We use variables in Figma to replace all of the light blues and replace all of the light yellows with your own brand colors. And we can then replace all of these headings with your own fonts and all the other text with your own fonts. This way of, we call these kits, way of, not sure what's happened there, way of delivering should be a lot more effective in terms of helping you stick and adhere to your brand guidelines and get a lot more in one place much, much faster. We've just launched 3 of the traditional kits at the moment. And if we come across into Figma, we then have exactly the same. You can see a lot of these kits here and how they've been built out. And just an example, so you can see this is a kind of a playground. At the moment, you can see this color scheme is different. Now, we can change that really easily by dropping the bold color scheme on. And this is just because we're trying to build these files by using what we call variables. So you can see that neutral color scheme we've got with the font Railway, with the bold brand, with the font Gotham, and then we've got this test brand here. And as you can see, it's going to be really, really easy for you to go and update and just add a new column in here of plus and add your own color scheme and then apply it here. Alternatively, you can just very simply go and replace these colors here for whatever you want. So 2 options for you. And that's where we're looking to move a lot more in 2025, where we give you these full files so you can then go edit yourselves. And then naturally when we come and start building new designs, so just yesterday we were, I saw something in A+, or A+ pending I should say. We had all these new designs we were building out, let's say for shower. And this kind of sort of modular section, which looks really nice and clean. The lines are just in place at the moment to ensure in order, but they'll be removed. You would then have this added to your kit. So the next time you log on, you can download a second version of it, let's say V2, 3, 4. So each week we're a design team, a design agency, we're making designs all of the time. Therefore, all of these designs and ideas that we're making, we're going to use to update the file. So the file that you've got can constantly evolve and get better and better, and it's all in one file for you. That's something we're working on at the moment, and some of these have already launched. So if we go inside kits, you'll have to excuse the initial pixelation. We're having some issues today, but we're building these different kits out like that, and you can then open that up accordingly. The next piece we're then working on is news. So one of the really good things about the Amazon industry at the moment is we have constant ideas coming out with regards to newsletters, LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube as well. One of the big efforts I'm trying to make is curate all of that news. So let's say Dorian at the moment put a post up the other day regarding to shoppers ignoring 80% of Amazon images. We then didn't see that. You weren't on LinkedIn. You didn't want to be scrolling on LinkedIn a month ago because you were on holiday. So you just missed this post. So one of the things I'm trying to do is curate that news from different platforms so then you can see all these ideas. Yeah, Joanna, where's Joanna? I saw her a minute ago. Joanna has been putting a lot of good stuff regarding to, and so is Andrew, regarding to AI at the moment. You want to keep abreast with all of those changes, but it can be very tiring for you to sit there on LinkedIn and Twitter, or you don't want to actually be on one or the other. No problem, you can use this feed to see these ideas. You can add your hashtags so you can search for them later. You can add that to the bookmarks and go best heroes, and you will see that when you're then inside of your bookmarks, the additional thing to add to news here. We didn't save it, so that's why it's not showing. So the news is something that's evolving really, really fast, and I think is a good way to kind of remain platform agnostic. You know, you may be going really, really deep into ChatGPT Sora to create your videos, but we found recently at our team that Google Veo is really, really good as well, and Amazon's own Bedrock is producing some good content at a fraction of the cost. So you might not see that if you were just on one platform. Whereas if someone's put a really good post out about that, that can just keep you on board with all these new updates. If we're thinking about AI, the two additional things we've launched is prompts, which was a brand new launch. And this is where we're saving basically a curation of prompt library. We've got a lot more to add. We just haven't got around to it. And if we go view details, you can see this is something I found recently where Google Veo was really, really good at creating the exact same model over and over again in different poses. I can give you the prompt that I used, and I can also give you a bit of background to that. This is something I'm updating regularly based on different users on social platforms who are, updating their own prompts, which is great. But also as we kind of learn these prompt flows where it goes from one prompt to another prompt to another prompt. And I think that kind of storyboard of prompts is proving to be very beneficial. We did a lot of research in the last month. We actually made over 1,000 video ads, and that was 1,000 raw videos, 5-second long, condensed down into about 10 different ads. So we learned a lot through that process of how to create these storyboards, which would allow us to prompt at each step of the storyboard, and also then what keywords we would like to include for the designer to then merge all those videos together to create that video ad. That was a lot of learning. What I'm trying to do is then condense all that learning down and curate it into one place so you can then just get all of that learning in one. So that's why we're doing that. I'll just drop back into the examples for a minute. The additional piece that we've just launched, and we're kind of in the slow process of launching, is a community. I think at the moment, especially with AI, things are evolving so fast. I'm in a couple of really good communities where we have lots of discussions on a daily basis and lots of questions on what is and isn't working, ideas to try, strategies that we're trying, and all of that can get lost. And I think communities offer a great value, particularly if you've got a driving force. We would like to be that driving force so users can come in. Not only is it a place for me to share updates and go, well, here are the 3 new kits we've launched. Here's a preview of each one so you can see in depth the kit before you come in. And if we open in incognito, you'll get a feel for that. You can see the full kit before you actually go in and complete a purchase with your credits. And that's something we're trying to introduce now as well. But then here, if this is loading, but it's not, I put a bit of information in yesterday about a brief generator that I've made. So create a own ChatGPT brief, really, really useful. And where has it gone now? It's not showing up. GPTs are really powerful. In the Amazon world, I've seen about 4 that are very good at the moment. So we look to curate all of that information into one place. I think the community can help with that. There you go. First step, fill in the form. Second step, adding your ACE into the GPT. This structured data we found from our experience as a design agency, giving structured data to a GPT is really valuable. Okay, so then we want to create a build-out process for you. And I think that's where these AI discussions inside a community can be really helpful. I am building out Telegram at the moment. We looked at Slack, but it's an additional $7-8 per user. I don't want to pass that cost on to users. So at the moment, we're thinking Telegram's going to be the best option to create a free community for people to then engage with each other. I believe that comes to the end, and there is no other updates at the moment. If you've got any questions, please give us a shout. But we are constantly evolving, and the next time you log on, you might see something slightly different. The UI is slightly different. We're just trying to make it better at all times, and we're always taking feedback from users. So hopefully that is a very in-depth intro. You can jump in now with a annual or a monthly license. And we'll very soon, probably today, be introducing these credit bundles as well, where you go, I want to buy one of these bigger kits that you've spoken about, and I don't have enough credits at the moment. Okay, we can introduce a bundle for that. Equally, one of the things we're speaking about doing is, let's say you pick up this bold kit and you want all your brand colors applied and your fonts applied, but you just aren't very good at Canva, you don't have the time, and then we can give you a very small service for our Canva experts, come in and do it for you, so it's just done in 24 hours. And that's something we're looking at as well, just to make your life faster and easier. Remember, our end goal here, and this is a great way to finish, is we want to lower the cost per design. That is our end objective, helping you create really high quality designs in less time for less money. And I think combining templates with AI and prompt and learning and education and examples libraries is really, really going to help you achieve that and your team achieve that. Thanks.